Now maybe we can start. Other people will join us along the way. So hi everyone, thanks for joining this webinar organized by the Graduate School of Education at Nazarbayev University. Today we are meeting our program directors for master's programs. We have 4 programs at GEC. So this few slides will show you the updates about the programs and some information about the application. And other than that, today during our session, you will have a chance to ask the questions you have about the programs. So in short, GEC in numbers looks like this. GEC have been established in 2012, so it's 10 years this year. We have around 30 faculty members, including professors, associate professors, assistant professors, and also instructors. We have more than 500 graduates, alumni members of the Graduate School of Education, and more than 200 students in our programs currently. So out of them, as you can see, 1/4, like around 50 students are PhD students, and around 173 are the master students currently enrolled at GEC in different programs. Each school at the Nazarbayev University has its strategic partners. So at the Graduate School of Education, it's the Cambridge University from UK and University of Pennsylvania from USA. In short, we have 5 academic programs at GEC. 4 of them are master's programs. Educational leadership is a big program because it has 3 specializations, which means 3 different programs: higher education, inclusive education, and school education. And also we have multilingual education program, master's program. Apart from that, we have PhD in education program. But today we will talk only about the master's programs. So the program in educational leadership has 3 areas of specializations as indicated in this slide. The target of this target students for these programs are the ones who would like to actually balance the work life, working, and at the same time they can do the professional development as they're doing the master's degree. So this is a 2-year low residency program which combines on-campus intensive sessions where you need to be on campus at Nazarbayev University and some distance learning through online learning. So intensive sessions means the actual sessions when the student and the faculty member meets, and intensive classes, we had like this kind of different 2 schedules. So pre-COVID means the time when we didn't have a COVID, like 2019, when we had like 3 weeks in August, 2 weeks in October, February 1.5 weeks, and in May 3 weeks. This was the regular schedule of the first-year master students. And during the COVID time, we had all our programs run online. That's why we had using this block scheduling when you need to be like working hard during this period of time from your home online. So it has a different specifics. Apart from that, we have multilingual education program, also a master's program. It's a 2-year full residency program, which means you cannot work while doing this degree. You need to be fully dedicated to your study. So program focuses on the theories, policies, and practices of multilingual education. And you will have a chance to ask more questions from the program directors about this program or other programs. Here's a bit of the admission statistics to the master's programs. So as you can see, like the blue line in the above shows how many applications usually we receive in each academic year. And then the black line shows how many students we plan actually to have in our programs. And the green line shows how many students we usually end up having. So application form consists of simple 5 or 4 documents. You go to the university website's admissions, fulfill the online application form, and provide your bachelor undergraduate degree with a transcript. You should have a competitive GPA as shown here, and also show the evidence of English proficiency. Other than that, we're required to have a statement of purpose curriculum, your resume, 1 year of work experience, you see the asterisk. It's up on the admissions committee whether it will waive this requirement from your admissions, depending on different academic achievements you will provide during your application, and also 2 recommendation letters. English language requirement as shown in here. We usually require IELTS or TOEFL certificate, or there are some exemptions if you did a degree in the undergraduate degree in an English-speaking university or English-speaking country. And the overall IELTS for the direct masters is a 6.5 with a subscore no below 6.0. But we also offer pre-masters program. If your IELTS score is a bit lower than expected directed to the masters, admissions committee can offer you the pre-masters program as shown in here. And some information about the channels where we post announcements, events, different workshops that are being done in the Graduate School of Education. Please stay tuned, follow us on different platforms. Thank you for your attention. Now I will stop demonstration and the floor will be open for you to ask the questions from our program directors. So maybe before we start, we'll do a bit of introduction of each faculty member that are here today. Michelle, can we start from you?
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Adana, for that overview and introduction. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our webinar. I am Michelle Bedica, and I'm the Program Director of the Multilingual in Education program. Thank you.
Thank you, Michelle. Iris?
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to this session. I'm Iris Isili. I'm the Program Director of Higher Education.
Thank you, Iris. Rita?
Hello, everyone. My name is Rita Kasha, and I'm the Program Director for Inclusive Education.
Thank you, Rita. And Daniel?
Hello, everybody. My name is Daniel Torrano, and I'm the Program Director for the School Education Program.
Thank you, Daniel. Thank you, everyone. So if you have any questions, please raise your hands or write in the chat box. For now, I don't see any questions yet. So maybe I'll give the floor to each program director to speak about their programs from the perspective that they have and they would like to share with you. Michelle, can we start with you, please?
Okay, thanks, Adana. I'm going to speak about the Multilingual in Education program. And the first question I think that you might have is, what does our program look like? So Adana has already told you that this is a 2-year full-time face-to-face program. So we have the privilege as faculty to really engage and interact with our students, which is really amazing. Some information about our courses. Our courses in multilingual education will provide you with theoretical knowledge and evidence-based research knowledge so that you basically understand the theories of multilingualism, the theories about language policy. We also expose you to different models of bilingual and multilingual development and relate this to trilingual education specifically. Then we focus on multilingualism in society. So basically we're looking at how does multilingualism happen in society and what is the implications of this for education. So we try and look at multilingualism in and outside of school. And then in terms of education and schooling specifically, we have courses such as multilingual curriculum and assessment. And here we're literally looking at what is curriculum, what is a multilingual curriculum, and what basically goes into assessment with in a multilingual paradigm. So our courses offer you multiple opportunities to gauge with how our theories can explain the current challenges or even the opportunities that Kazakhstan might face after the switch to trilingual education. We also try and unpack your own orientations or your own values and beliefs about language learning and about language development so that you can understand how these orientations play out in school context and even in societal context in the Kazakhstani arena. Then after all of these courses, we kind of expose you to conduct research on multilingual or trilingual education in and outside of school. Another question that you might have would be, what are the kind of prospective candidates that we kind of expect in our program? So we're looking for motivated and driven students who would view our program as an opportunity to gain theoretical knowledge, but with the mindset where you can use these theories to question them in practice and to also reflect on the relevance in the Kazakhstani context. So we kind of envisage that you will contribute to solution-driven research where you basically try and find locally relevant solutions rather than imposing international context and saying this is what will work in the Kazakhstani context. So if you are a philologist, if you are a teacher that teaches one or more languages as a subject, if you teach through a second or third language, and even if you are an administrator of a language school or a trilingual education program, then we want you for our program. We're really desperate to have you in our program. So, however, if your mindset is about, I just want a Nazarbayev University diploma, I don't care what field it is in, or if your mindset is, I'm interested in everything and anything, or if you're thinking, I want you to train me to be an English teacher, or I want to study foreign languages and literature, then our program might not be the best one for you. Okay, so keep that in mind. So some tips for you if you consider applying. You should be thinking of your own understanding of what multilingual education is and what it is not before you enter our program. You should know who you are and what you can bring to our program, because we're really interested in what you have to offer in terms of looking at these theories and unpacking it in terms of what your understanding is. You also need to think about your future plans and how our program can contribute to this in terms of where you see yourself in future. So to sum up, if you want to join our program, we can guarantee that we will bring you state-of-the-art knowledge about multilingualism in the world, but really get you to think about how these state-of-the-art knowledge is applicable or not relevant in the Kazakhstani context. And once you are exposed to our program, you will have an opportunity to bring systematic knowledge of multilingualism in the Kazakhstani context to the world. And there's a real interest in what's happening in Kazakhstan, especially with trilingual education policy. So thank you so much. That sums up the multilingual education program. Thank you, Aidana.
Thank you very much, Michelle. Iris, the floor is yours.
Is it me?
Yes, Iris.
Thank you. Thank you, Michelle. So I have a video introducing the MSc in Educational Leadership, Higher Education. I have a video on YouTube introducing the program. If you are interested, please go and have a look at that video. That covers pretty much I have to say about our MSc program in higher education, and I'm not going to repeat it here. And in addition, please do visit our website, our Facebook and Instagram. You will also find a lot of relevant information on these platforms. So what I'm going to talk to you about, in addition to what Michelle have said, is what the students in higher education, the previous students and current students have found intriguing, useful for them during their study in GSC. The first is it's a very challenging but caring environment. It is very challenging because in MSc program, Aidana mentioned that it's low residency with blended learning. You are allowed to work full-time, but you also need to study. So you need to be a really good manager of your own time. you need to balance different roles, different duties and tasks, your personal life and professional life during your study. And the volume of reading and assignments may be quite challenging for some of you because it may be a completely new experience. So get ready for that. But at the same time, the students find it really rewarding, particularly towards the end, when they have achieved what they are expected to achieve. The sense of achievement is really rewarding for our students and our alumni. But at the same time, it's also a very caring environment. If you have the chance to talk to our alumni or current students, they probably will tell you that, yes, our professors are very strict, but they are human beings and they are very understanding. So this is a kind of a culture and environment where we strive to create for our students. The second thing is our students really enjoy the new way of learning. This includes challenging their own established assumptions and perspectives throughout their studies, because your professors will keep throwing questions at you, asking you to look at the same issue from different angles, whether it's through Q&A with the professor, through group discussion, or through your reflective or analytical essay writing. The students also enjoy a sense of community, group work with their peers. It's a very valuable learning experience for our students to be able to learn from together and from their peers. And the third thing our alumni and students found really engaging for them is a very international environment. Our faculty, your future professors, come from different parts of the world. We bring in our own academic and professional and life experience to this community. At the same time, during your study, you will be exposed to a literature that are written, studies that are conducted by researchers from around the world. And you will be able to attend and listen to these researchers, policymakers, and practitioners from around the world without having to leave Kazakhstan. So these are very, very valuable opportunities for our alumni and for our current students. I'm going to stop here, and I'm sure Rita and Daniel will have more to add to that. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Iris. Daniel, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Aidana, and my previous colleagues who presented their programs. I am, as I said, the program director of the school education program. It has a lot of similarities with some of the programs that have been presented, but in particular, the Master in Science Education Leadership School Education is targeting mostly teachers, administrators, and specialists that are working mostly in school, in the school system, K-12, that are interested in acquiring skills that they will use to make some positive changes in the education system of Kazakhstan. So our programs, I think this goes across all the programs that we are discussing here today, is based on 3 pillars, right? The first one is leadership. The word leadership is included in the main title of all the programs. So we are training leaders. It's not only about training teachers, even though most of our students are teachers, but this is our leadership program. So we are training leaders to, again, lead the change in the education system of Kazakhstan. The second aspect is research. We have a very strong emphasis on research in all our programs. And the third one refers to professionalism. So we are training professionals that are ethical, that are responsible, that are autonomous, and we focus on these 3 areas. In terms of the prospective students, we have most of our students are teachers at different systems, in different systems like NIS, Bilim, mainstream, and other systems of school. But we also have within our students, we have vice principals, we have principals, we have people who are working NGOs and different educational enterprises. And all of them, they have one thing in common, that is they want to make a positive change in the education system of Kazakhstan. In terms of the characteristics of the program, I think Aidana presented the main characteristics, and I think you can find information in the website, and there are also videos in YouTube, as my colleague Dr. Lee mentioned. So for this presentation, I just wanted to give you the student side view. So before coming here, I asked the current students what I should tell to prospective applicants to make them excited to apply to our programs. And they told me that there are many things, but I should talk definitely about 3 things. One is something that my colleague, Dr. Lee, already mentioned. That's the quality of teaching. The quality of teaching at the NU in general, but in particular at the Graduate School of Education, is exceptional. We have a very diverse profile of faculty members, come from every continent in the world, also from Kazakhstan and from the region. And they offer a unique perspective, different perspectives about the educational issues we discuss in our program. But also you must know, at NU, there is one thing we call the NU Teaching Awards. And this is these awards are awarded to the best teachers in Nazarbayev University. So I can assure you that the Graduate School of Education has by far the highest number of awards across all schools in the university. This includes engineering, School of Medicine, School of Humanities, Social Sciences. Graduate School of Education always gets a few representatives every year in the NU Teachers Awards. So quality teaching, it's out of question. The second is research. I mentioned earlier that one of our programs is research. Students, they are very passionate about research. I think it's one of the characteristics that distinguishes our school from other universities in the country. We put a lot of emphasis in research, and we train students from day one to be researchers, ethical researchers, and effective researchers. And they graduate only when they publish, they submit a master's thesis. And from the day one until that moment, they are immersed in a very research-intensive environment. The last thing is the community. Also, my colleague Icy mentioned earlier. It's a very caring community. Students are always amazed, especially when they come here face-to-face in campus, about how much we care about our students, about how much support we provide, and about how positive learning environment we create for these students. Just to finish, to give you the last clue about the program, I just got a very good news today from one student that emailed some of the professors in the school education program. She told us that she was admitted to a master program to continue her graduate studies in the Harvard School of Education. So just can give you perhaps an idea about the quality of the graduates we produce that are accepted then for postgraduate studies in all universities around the world, including the top ones. So this is all for me. I'm sure my colleagues will add, and happy to answer any questions you have.
Thank you very much, Daniel, and congratulations to the school education team for having that kind of graduated student. Rita, the floor is yours.
Thank you. I can only build on what everybody else already said about our school and programs that we offer. So inclusive education program in Masters of Science in Educational Leadership focuses on the questions of inclusion in educational setting, but also, of course, we recognize that educational setting is connected to the bigger social context. And thus, our students come from different backgrounds, not only from the schools, but also we have students who work in higher education settings, who have had their work experience with international organizations, and also non-governmental and governmental organizations in Kazakhstan. And some of them have also had these experiences outside Kazakhstan. We look in our students for the sense of agency, for willingness to change things. We are interested to see that our students are willing to make impact on any environment where they are working, and this impact should be oriented towards building more inclusive education system and more inclusive society. So we have admitted to our program students with education not only from pedagogical universities, but also people have studied law, people have studied economics. What we look for is that there's evidence that in these prior studies, even though there has to be connection to education, students have focused on topics that are relevant for inclusive education and social justice. We also look for evidence in our applicants that they have engaged with issues of inclusive education and inclusion or equity in their professional or voluntary work. So we really are very much interested in diversifying our pool of students so they come from different backgrounds, because it contributes to group dynamics. Peers at Nazarbayev University and Graduate School of Education is probably the greatest resource that you may have. You will have, if you come to study at Nazarbayev University Graduate School of Education, you will have excellent classmates. They are all motivated, they are all driven, they are all great support in innovative ideas that you may want to implement. We have multiple examples when our students and graduates have set up organizations, social business projects that that are competitive, they are sustainable, they are able to raise funding and pursue really making very significant impact in society. And also, if you are willing to work in governmental organizations, Daniel already mentioned our programs have a very substantial training in research. So we have our alumni who work in governmental organizations that are predominantly research focused to inform policy decisions in the government here in Kazakhstan. And we don't have as many international students yet. Nevertheless, those who are here, they also hold quite decisive positions in their organizations. So when you become a student at Nazarbayev University, you automatically become a member of a bigger club, a network of excellent people, professionals, who will be able to support you in your pursuit of your ideals and goals. This is what I would like to add, and I would absolutely encourage that you do apply to Graduate School of Education and have a clear vision for what you want to achieve. So vision, passion, persistence are kind of three keys. If you have them, then you will succeed. So we look forward to reading your application, hopefully.
Thank you very much, Rita. So now floor is open for all the questions you may want to ask from our program directors. Ayem is the first one to raise a hand. Ayem?
Yes, good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, thank you for this session. Yes, it's so informative. Thank you a lot. And I have a question. I mean, I am now a fourth year student and I am fresh graduate. So as you mentioned, you need 1 year work experience. Do I have any chances to be accepted by your program? Because as you said, I'm fresh student, I'm fresh graduate.
Thank you, Ayem. Can you please clarify which program are you applying? Multilingual education or educational leadership?
Yes, multilingual education. Yeah.
Okay, Michelle, the question goes to you.
Okay, thanks, Ayam, and thanks for that question. I think for now, I can encourage you to do the application. The panel will sit and then we can see what you have to offer. So what's going to be really important is your personal motivation, your letter in terms of what you have to offer. So think really clearly about what you would bring to the multilingual education program. I've just started, I think 2 years ago, but I've been on the admissions committee last year. So we've had at least 1 or 2 applicants who had like almost no work experience, maybe a few months. So it all depends on whether you'll get shortlisted and whether you really convince us with what you have to offer to the program. I hope that answers your question.
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
Can I ask another question?
Sure.
I know that it's the first step to be accepted. You must apply your documents. And the second step, the interview with you, and what kind of interview it's going to be, like who we ask me any questions, what kind of questions you'll ask me? Maybe some examples, please.
Okay, so like I said in my presentation, you really need to think about who you are. Again, I think a major question is that we ask participants is, why would we want you in our program? What did you offer, and what role do you see yourself playing in terms of multilingual education within the Kazakhstani context? What do you see as potential opportunities or potential challenges within this context? So you really need to think very deeply about that, because the questions is not really testing your understanding of theories at this point. It's getting to understand whether, like my colleagues have said, whether you are motivated and passionate, and whether this language issue is something that you're really interested in. You're not just doing it for the sake of continuing with another degree, but you actually really discovered something that's a burning issue for you. And despite your lack of work experience, you do see that there's some value that you can add to our program. So again, we value diversity. So I'm not saying you will be accepted, but I'm saying you do have a chance. It really depends on how you are going to prepare yourself. So depending on what you must have something already, some issue, because you're interested in multilingual education. Think about what that is, how that relates to multilingual education, and what you think you can add to it. So the questions, what I'm saying is, in my time that I've been part of the panel, we are really warm. We see it as a conversation that we're having with you. We're really trying to get to know you, and we're not trying to trick you. Okay, I hope that helps, Ayom.
Thank you a lot. Yes, thank you. Now I understand.
Okay.
Next one is Ayjarqin.
Hello, everyone. My name is Ayjarqin. I'm from Kazakhstan, nearly from Karaganda. I'm a teacher preparing children for school. First of all, I'm grateful for this opportunity to ask questions. Now I'm collecting documents for admission and would like to ask about writing a motivation letter. Can you recommend a better way to write a motivation letter? What's very important to mention in the letter? Perhaps I need to answer important questions. Thank you.
So
Can
anyone
I go first?
Yeah.
Just very
Please.
briefly, and then all my colleagues can join me. Aidana, very nice to meet you, Ayjarqin. Aidana, do we have a recorded session on how to write a personal statement? Okay.
Yes,
So
Miriam did
GSE,
the session.
so our school has a video on YouTube, especially on how to write a personal statement, right? That's my memory. So you can refer to that, Ayjarqin. And the second thing is just to follow up on what Michelle mentioned in your personal statement. One thing that the committee members, admission committee members, that will look for is your enthusiasm on educational issues and why you are enthusiastic about it. So to sum it up, based on our experience, or my experience as a member on the committee, the students who have questions when they applied to the program, they tend to be more focused during their study. We could, as committee members, we actually look really carefully. We look in detail and very thoroughly in your writing, in your personal statement. We will try our best to dig up and interpret the information that you provided, particularly about your enthusiasm, your motivation, and whether you will be able to sustain that enthusiasm throughout your study. So that would be my own experience as a committee member, and I'm sure my colleagues can share theirs.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
It's always important that your letter of motivation tells us about you. because that's the way how we get to know you before we meet you. So make sure to mention evidence that illustrates that your enthusiasm is substantiated.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Rita. The next one is, yeah, Daniel would like to add.
Just one thing, perhaps. I think, I don't know if it's explicit in the application form or in the description, but I think there are a few things. I think there are 3 or 4 things that we expect students to address in the motivation letter. Again, I don't know if this is, whether this is explicit, but I think one of them is why you're applying. It would be a convincing argument, and there are some students that they just refer to the, I would love to study at NU because it's a great university. Well, that's a good idea, but perhaps we want to hear a bit more about why specifically to this program you're applying. Another thing I think we want you to discuss is some educational issues that you think are important in the education system of Kazakhstan, if you are from Kazakhstan or from whatever country you're applying from. And another thing I remember students are expected to talk about is where do you see yourself in 5 years? So as an educator, in what area? So be sure that you touch upon these things, because when we read, we are looking for this information. And I think that will help you to increase your chances to be admitted. And just to say, personal letter, the motivation letter, is a very important document. If not the most important in the application, it's a very important one. So be sure you spend time writing this document, and then you watch the video that the IC mentioned earlier, because it's very important.
Thank you, Daniel. The next one is Mulder. Mulder, please ask your question.
Hello, good evening, everyone. I have a question concerning the inclusive education program. I understand that it's not a teacher preparation program, but is it a disadvantage if in my motivational letter I wrote about my long-term goal of being a learning support teacher and how I'm interested in supporting kids with neurodiversity challenges and all those stuff, that considering that my bachelor is in business and management. So I view this education partially as a development as a teacher. So is that a not a good thing if I wrote about that? If I focus on me seeing applying to the application as my, how to say, career goal of becoming a learning support teacher and developing as a teacher? Yeah, that's it.
I think, yeah, thank you. I think that it's amazing that you have a clear goal, and you know that one of the ways to achieve this goal is actually to learn how to work in education setting, and also how to exercise your competencies and potential as a leader who is in a teaching position. When we talk about leadership in Graduate School of Education, we don't talk about principals and directors only. We apply in the school what we call the concept of shared leadership. And according to this concept, everyone in the school setting has some leadership role to play. And it's not necessarily in this horizontal leadership perspective, but certainly in a vertical leadership perspective. So I wouldn't consider it a disadvantage that you have mentioned that your career goal is to become a support teacher. And these professionals are very important in education settings, and absolutely we need more of them. Yes, I wouldn't worry about the content from this perspective, unless there is some other question that you would like to clarify.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Rita. And the next one is Diane.
Good evening. Thank you for your meeting. And actually, I have a question. It might sound a bit off topic, but I want some clarifications, because I tend to apply this program a year before, so I changed my studies to dual education and got to the school in village because I wanted to know what's the difference. So after that, this year I have changed my studies to the in the city. But my main question is that I really want to make changes in villages. So I want to contribute in some how the studies there organized. But it happens I couldn't find any syllabus. So is there any opportunity to find them? Maybe like in some academic program? Because I'm not yet applied because I couldn't find it, and I'm not sure if I should apply if there wasn't some models that call for me. Thank you.
Is it the school education? What program is that you are interested in, or you're just asking?
I'm sorry, it was school education.
So then, if my colleagues are okay, perhaps I can respond. And just to clarify, your question is whether you can focus or you would be receiving some kind of like a training on rural schools, like how to lead change in rural environments. Is that the question that you are asking, more or less? Yes, totally. That's a very, very important topic currently in around the world, internationally, but particularly in Kazakhstan, considering the demographic and geographical particularities of the country. So surely that's a very important topic, even if you would like to focus on that aspect for your master's thesis, that will be great. And not only that, but we have faculty members in our program, several of them, but I can just think off the top of my head, Dushon Shamatov, Mirafsal Tajik, both of them, and perhaps others, they focus, they research on rural education, quality rural education. They have a project at the moment. They had a project in the past. So surely you will have the expertise in the school to guide you and do research and learn about these topics. So that's a great topic, and I would strongly encourage you to apply with that idea in mind.
Thank you.
If I may add, Daniel, to what you said, and it's a general note, we all professors of Graduate School of Education are active researchers. So you will not only read papers that other people wrote, but you will read papers of people who teach in the program. So, and also students have this opportunity to become research assistants when they study here. So certainly, if you are interested in these kinds of activities, this is a good place for you too.
Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have any other questions?
Idana, so in the chat box, Aisulu has a question. She asked, which program has distant learning? She wants to combine work with study. So Michelle's program, multilingual, that's full-time on-campus resident requirement. So there is no blended learning element there, I believe, unless when it's during the pandemic. And for MSc, 3 MSc programs, Idana introduced that in the slide in the presentation, that it's low residence. It doesn't mean it's distance learning. It means that you have the opportunity to combine work and study, because we would really like practitioners to join our program. But you are required, as a student, you are required to be on campus for face-to-face courses several times a year. And each time it may vary from 1.5 weeks to 3 weeks. That will require you to negotiate with your employers regarding whether and how long you can be on campus. Now, my experiences for the students, you really have to think very hard about this option. It is not an easy road. it can be challenging at times depending on your workload and your other commitments. And so it's a very good option to combine your professional experience, your work and study, but at the same time, it may present some bumpy roads. So that will be my answer to Aisulu.
Okay, thank you so much for full answer.
But I hope, Aisulu, that will not stop you from applying, because all our students in MSc programs, that's basically what they are doing. They are studying and they are working at the same time.
Okay, thank you so much.
Ardak, do you have a question?
Good evening.
Sorry.
Good evening, everyone. So I have simple question, but I would like to know if we apply for master's degree before April 18th, yes, when will there be an answer about the possible stage of the second round? Do you hear me?
Yes, Ardak, we heard your question. Maybe the general answer will be sometime within June, because once your document is submitted, the application form, it doesn't go directly to the admissions committees that are present here, but it goes to the admission department that checks all the documentation for the validity for about a month's time. So it's mid-May when the admissions committees receive actually your application and start reading and assessing and doing, all those selection processes. So sometime beginning of June or mid-June, you will have the final results of the admissions.
Okay, thank you for the answers.
You're welcome, Ardak. Abdul Rahim.
Hi, everyone.
Hi.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, my name is Abdurrahim. I'm reaching you out from Ghana in Africa. Hello?
Yes, we can hear you. Please continue.
Hello?
Hi.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, good. My name is Abdurrahim. I'm reaching out from Ghana in Africa. I have some few questions for Daniel, for Dr. Daniel.
Please go ahead. Welcome.
Hello?
Hello, can you hear us? We can hear you. What about you?
Hello, can you hear me? Hello?
Yes, we hear you.
Let me try again.
I think there is some internet connection problems. Abdul Rahim,
Hello?
you can ask your question. We can hear you,
Yes,
or put it in the chat, please.
Hello. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, that's good. Oh, first of all, I'm really so sorry for the poor connection of my internet. I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
Okay,
It's okay,
my name is
Abdul
Abdurrahim. Yes, my name is Abdurrahim from Ghana in Africa. I want to ask Dr. Daniel. I want to find out
Please.
Yes, I want to find out if you have a bachelor degree in public administration. I want to know whether it's possible to be admitted in education leadership. Thank you.
In our program, yes, I don't know if you are aware of, but we have several students from Ghana at the moment in our program, so that's great. And in regards to your questions, surely you can apply with a degree on public administration. I think it's to some extent relevant to the field of education, and we have had students applying and admitted in the past with such a degree. So just be sure when you apply that you explain how you, well, what is your interest in the field of education, and perhaps how you move from public administration to education. But surely that's a good degree, and you should be applying.
Thank you so much, Doctor.
Thank you so much.
And sorry once again for my network connection.
No problem. No, don't worry.
Okay, then the question in the chat box also maybe goes to the Michelle, because this applicant is applying to the MA program. So it's a 4th-year student without professional experience. We've covered the kind of similar question, right, Michelle, in the beginning?
Mm-hmm. We have said that you can send your application. It's really important what you're going to cover in your motivational letter. So we've had, last year when I was part of the committee, I know that we have selected some really strong 1 or 2 candidates with a few months of work experience. So my advice would be to send your application, think carefully about how you're going to connect your undergraduate degree with where you see multilingual education can take it forward. Identify a clear goal for how you see this program can contribute to your long-term goals after you finish this particular program.
Thank you, Michelle. I hope this satisfies Haim's questions. Do we have any other questions? Maybe final 1 or 2 questions before we finalize our session. So maybe this question also goes to you, Michelle, because the student is applying to MA. Do you pay attention on students' GPA?
Yes, we definitely do. We definitely do. So I'm hoping it's a good, in fact, if it's a really good GPA, then that is one of the factors that will count in your favor. So it might be that the work experience is one of the factors that counts against you, but then you've got a particularly strong GPA, and you are particularly knowledgeable about where you see yourself and how you think the MA can connect with your future goals.
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
There's another, maybe the final question for today is, this candidate received the reject letter this afternoon. It mentioned interview in the letter, but hadn't attended any interview before. So I'm wondering what's the interview that I didn't take. Okay, maybe you will send your question here in the email so we can find full information about your application, because currently we don't know like which program you've applied. So we can have a more detailed look at your question. Zhang Ying, inclusive education. Okay, we will check. Please send your question to this email. We'll forward that to the admissions committee. Thank you. Thank you for all program directors that are present here today for your time and the information and the answers you shared with all the applicants today. Thank you very much. And good luck for all the applicants that are here and applying this year. We look forward to seeing you as our students in the fall 2022. So good luck and please take care. Have a good evening all.
Thank you. Good luck, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.